dynamic survivor of domestic violence that graced you with her mind-blowing introductory speech titled This Dimpled Smile. She's a life coach, motivational speaker, and freelance writer. She's also a registered nurse and a doctor in training. I've got pain here. I got it last week. Despite her many roles, her ultimate pride and joy comes from being blessed with 6 wonderful chickie-poos. For those who were not here for our icebreaker speech, the chickie-poos is the name coined for her daughter and 5 sons. She is known for being grounded in spirituality, maternal satisfaction, and professional advancement. Her passion for people goes without saying, and she is always ready to help others excel to their highest potential. As a change agent, she is here to give you a step-by-step plan on how to manage the one thing most people fear: change. Here with her nuggets of knowledge embedded in her speech entitled, Acknowledge, Consider, Adopt. Please help me welcome Monique.
I guess it's Captain America as opposed to Mr. Toastmaster. Fellow Toastmasters, guests, life is filled with unexpected things that come up that requires us to change. Some examples include the birth of a baby, divorce, the death of a loved one, job advancement, and the list goes on and on and on. The funny thing is, humans, we're very good at adapting to whatever comes our way. We're very adaptable creatures. However, when it comes to change, we put up resistance. We resist change. And that may be because change is known to be scary, it's known to be uncomfortable, and it upsets our routine. And we love routine. But the good news is, despite what we feel in regards to fear, discomfort, and fear, discomfort, and a disrupted routine, there is a way for us to handle that by changing our perspective, the way that we look at things. Now, what I want you to walk away with is 3 steps when you're faced with change. Step number 1, acknowledge the need for change. Step number 2, you're going to consider all your options. And step number 3 is to adopt change. Now, as you guys know, whoever, at least for those who were here, I've had a lot of change recently, in the very recent past, with relocating here to Colorado. So I'm going to share with you some things that has helped me to transition into the person that I am right now, in comparison to where I'm coming from. Step 1, let's first start with that. It's to acknowledge the need for change. In order to address any situation, you have to acknowledge that there's a need, that something must be done about it. Alcoholics Anonymous, any 12-step program that you go to, they start out with acknowledging. Because if you don't recognize that there is a problem, then you won't make change. An example of this is when I changed from with children in a 2-parent home to children in a 1-parent home. That was reality. Reality sunk in. Some things had to change, and it had to change quick. So some of the things that I had to look at was childcare arrangements, money. Oh, wait a minute, he left the debt behind too. And what am I going to do in the long term to support my children? So I acknowledged that there were issues that needed to be resolved. So that brings me to step number 2. Step number 2 is to consider all options and all parties that are affected by the change. It's very important that we weigh all options, because for every action, there is a reaction. You have to be sure that you consider all of your options and decide what's going to have the most productive outcome with the least damage. For me, single mom now, I had to put in overtime, 80-hour weeks became a regular thing. The debt got paid off. I had to hire childcare into the home, and I had to, unfortunately, the collateral damage, not spend time with my kids as much. Step number 3, we're going to adopt the change. Once you have whatever the issue is in front of you, and it's time for you to actually do it, just jump in, head first. Do whatever it is that you have to do, because eventually you gain buoyancy and it becomes the norm. And so for the few months that things were on the hustle and bustle and mom was gone to work because she had goals in place, the Chicky Poos had no choice but to adjust. And all of the changes were implemented, and they embraced it, I embraced it. We knew it was temporary, and we're here today, and we're fine. Thank goodness that's not my life right now. So, in conclusion, change is inevitable. We don't like it. As humans, change is not what we desire. We don't like it. But, despite the fear, the discomfort, or the disruption of our routines, it's very important that we renew our perspective and we look at change with different eyes, employing that 3-step plan that I talked about. Now, if any one of you guys are going through any major changes and you need support, I am here. I'm your life coach. Feel free to contact me. But more importantly than relying on someone else, you have everything that it takes to go through change with buoyancy and by employing the 3-step plan. Now, I expect everybody to write this down. The 3 steps are: acknowledge the need for change. Is everyone writing? You're going to consider all options. Very good. And you're going to adopt the change. And I want to thank you guys for taking note of that plan.